What is house hacking? Well, first off, welcome back to the channel. House hacking is something that I am looking to do. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process right now of looking for a home to house hack. Now, let's get right into it, right? House hacking is when you buy a multi unit or multi family property, duplex, triplex, or more, right? More than one unit, and you live in one unit. And you rent out the other or others of those units, right? Depending on how many you have. The most common house hack is to buy a duplex, live in one, rent out the other. I think most people have heard of that, right? At this point, if you're on social media, I'm sure it's kind of a buzzword. But what do you really get out of doing that, right? The most obvious is, well, there's somebody on the other half of that duplex paying ideally, not guaranteed, but ideally most of your mortgage. But in doing that, let's take a look at the bigger picture here, right? You've increased your net worth to the value of the home. You are further increasing it by having equity build in the home, by having the other tenant pay down the mortgage for you, right? You have more financial flexibility with that equity that you're building. You could take a loan against it, right? There's a lot of things you could do with that once you own the property. And I think the biggest thing that you're doing is you're building net positive cash flow in the future. So when you first live in a property, again, assuming it's a duplex, 2 units, you will be paying whatever your tenant is not paying. Okay, whatever the difference is. Let's say it's 3 grand a month. Tenant pays 2 grand, you're paying 1 grand. That's only for the time you live there. With typical loans like FHA loan or conventional, when you buy a duplex, you're required to live in it for 1 year, and then you're free to do with whatever you want with it. So let's say you pay that 1 grand for a year. Remember, the total mortgage is 3 grand, and the other unit is paying 2 grand. After a year, you rent the unit that you were previously living in for 2 grand. Now you're getting 4 grand in cash flow, and you only have 3 grand in bills. It's an extra 1,000 a month. Which, I mean, this scenario I'm giving you is probably a rare one, but an extra 1,000 a month in this economy. I mean, what are we talking about there, right? I mean, there's not much else to really need to know that this is a good idea. Now, I want to debunk something about buying a home in general. It's a loud car coming by. It's Atlanta for you. I want to debunk a myth about home purchasing that I thought before I tried to buy one, which is that it's expensive. It does not have to be with the right loan, I guess. Let's say lender. With the right lender, you can have your down payment on the loan covered, right? It has to be at least 3.5%, pretty much across the board, right? Single family or any multifamily. Now, what really gets people, which often costs more than the down payment, is the closing costs. They can vary anywhere from 1 to 5%. What I've since learned is that you can ask the seller of the home to cover some, if not all, of the closing. Okay, so you might be thinking, why would someone want to sell their home, sell it to me, get it out of their hands, and give me money at the same time? It's kind of a crazy idea, kind of a crazy concept, but when you think about it, it makes sense if you want to get rid of that property, right? I mean, since 2021, the average home value in this country has gone up almost 50%. What that means is those owning homes are thriving in their equity, and those who don't own homes are having trouble getting one. Lastly, those who are selling homes are having trouble finding a buyer, right? So when a buyer comes along, you have leverage, right? Leverage, and not in the sense of like leveraging debt, but leverage in the sense of control over the upper hand, if you will. You have the upper hand in this market as a buyer. You can go to a seller of a home and ask them to cover majority, if not all, of the closing costs. Let's say the house is 300 grand. You're probably looking at 15 grand in closing. It's a lot of money that most people don't just have laying around, but you know who does have it? The seller of the home once they sell the home. So if they're selling it for, again, 300 grand and they bought it for 180, you know, 10 years ago, whatever it may be, they now have 120 grand at least in profit, minus whatever else they've paid down on the actual mortgage balance. They're coming out pretty good. They can afford to shell out that 15 grand to you. And if they don't, well, you should probably find another seller.